types of trend in the financial market. Types of trend. Types of trend in the financial market. Now, we have the first one. We have the number one. We have the bullish trend. Bullish trend. And we have the number two. We have the bearish trend. We have the bearish trend. And the third one, which is the last but not the least, is the range. Is the range or consolidation. Consolidation. These are the types of trend we have in the market. Now, let's do the demonstration. Yeah, for bullish trend. For bullish trend. Bullish trend, as the name implies, means, we all know this animal that we call the bull. You know how the bull moves. It moves with a force. So bullish trend means a buying trend. A buying trend when the market is going to a particular direction continuously, going to the upside, buying to the upside continuously. We have the bearish. We all know this animal too, called the bear. The bear is so gentle and slow. So the bearish means a selling market. It is going all the way to the downside. Now, let me give a template of this. For a bullish trend, we have the impulse, correction, impulse, correction, impulse, correction, impulse, correction, and impulse. Now, this thing is also known as higher high, higher high, sorry, higher high, and higher low, higher low, higher high, and higher low. This is the high here, higher high, and oh sorry, higher high and higher low. Higher low. This is where we have the higher low. Higher high. Higher low. Higher low. Higher high. Now, mind you, this one is just an high. This is just an high. Don't let me call it higher high. I'll break it down now. This is just an high for us. This is just an high. It's nothing but just an high. So this is just an high, and this higher low. So why is it an higher high and higher low? This is higher high and this is a higher low. This is higher high and this is higher low. Why is this called this one called an higher high? Reason being that this high is higher than this high. Hence, it is known as the higher high. And for this high, looking at this high, it is higher than this high. Hence, it is also known as the what? Higher high. Doesn't mean that it is higher than the previous high. Looking at this, the higher low, this low here, it is higher than this low. This low, it is higher than this low. Hence, it is called the what? The higher low. This low, it is higher than this low. Hence, it is called the higher low. That's why we have the higher high and the higher low. But don't forget, this is the what? This is the bullish trend. This is the bullish trend. Bullish trend. Yes, this is bullish trend. where you see the price moving to a particular direction continuously. And which direction is that? It is the upside, moving to the upside continuously. You can see the direction it is moving towards. It's moving to the upside, to the upside. So this for the bullish trend. Let's talk about the bearish trend. Talking about the bearish trend, we have the what? We have the price moving to the downward direction, or let me say yes, moving to the downward continuously, going down, moving bearish. So that we have the what? We have the lower high and the lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, and lower low. So this is for the what? This is for the bearish trend. This is for the bearish trend. This is the bearish trend. Yeah. So let's label the higher. We have the higher low, lower high. Sorry, we have the lower high and we have the lower low. We have the lower high and we have the lower low. Lower high and the lower low. Lower high, lower high and lower low. Lower high and lower low. This is lower high. And this is also the lower low. This is the lower high. This is the lower high. And this is the lower low. Please don't mind the noise. So this is the lower high and this is the lower low. Lower high. Why is it lower high and lower low? This high, this particular high here is this is a high. Yeah, this is a high or lower high. Let's say it's coming from a trend actually. So this is a lower high. This is a lower high. Reason mean that this high is lower than the previous high, and here we have the lower low. This low is lower than the previous low. This is the lower high. This high is lower than this previous high. And this is the lower low. This low is lower than the previous low. The lower high here too. This high lower than the previous high, which is this. And this low is lower than the previous low, which is this. This high is lower than the previous high, this. And this low is lower than the previous low, which is this. Hence, this is called the bearish trend. Now, we have a transition in trend. But before I talk about transition in trend, let's talk about the last one, the range of consolidation. This is how this one moves. It doesn't move in a direction. It doesn't have a particular direction. So it just moves in range. So this is really not, this is not a trend that is advisable to trade. This is not a condition that is advisable to trade in, but depending on the kind of trader that you are and how you manage your risk, this trading condition is not really advisable. It's not really advisable. So this is the range. This is the range of consolidation. Because the market does not have a particular direction it's going to, just going to buy and sell in within a particular price. So that's the three types of trend we have in the market. That's the three types of trend we have in the market. So talking about transition of trend transition, trend transition, trend transition. Now, what do we mean by trend transition? We all know the Newton law of motion that says that the body will continue to be in a state of motion until it is acted upon by an external force. This bullish trend will continue to be a bullish trend until there is an external force or a power that changes this trend. Until there's a power that changes this trend from the bullish to the bearish. This is higher low, but here we have a transition in trend. So here we have a transition in trend. So it's broke this higher low. It broke this higher low. So this means that we have moved from a bullish trend to a bearish trend. Hence, this low, this high, will now be known as what? The strong high. This is a strong high. This is a strong high. Now, why? Why is it a strong high? This is the high that broke the strong low, the low that we expect that the low that we expected that it's supposed to bounce, it's supposed to continue the trend. We expected this low to continue the trend. Like, I mean, we expected something like this. We expected something like this to happen. Come to this higher low and continue. Or come to this higher low or somewhere near it and continue your trend. But no, it doesn't happen like that. Instead, it just broke the strong low. The low that we've seen that okay, this low is supposed to continue the trend, but it broke that low. And now that's transitioned from a bullish trend to a bearish trend. And this would continue to happen until we transition again from this bearish trend to the bullish trend. Do you get my point? Until we transition again from this bearish trend to this bullish trend. So this break here, this break of the higher low is known as the what? As the chart. As it is known as the chart, the change of character. Yes, that's what most traders call it. Call it the church, the change of character. Yeah, the change of character. Because there has been a change in the character. The character that we were following before. It was the higher high and the higher low, higher high and the higher low. That was the previous character. But here now, the character has changed from that higher high and higher low, which is the bullish trend, to a bearish trend, which is the lower high and lower low. So that is how the trend transition. But don't forget, I said for this for trend, for this bearish trend here, to stop moving bearish, we have to we need to see a transition again. A transition again that will break this last lower high. That will break this last lower high. This is a transition. Breaks this last lower high and go bullish. And from there it continues. Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. This is how we transition from one trend to another trend. From one trend to another trend. This is exactly how we transition. We've talked about the types of trend, talked about the anatomy of candlesticks, and yeah, we talked about the transition of trend transition. So for the candlesticks, let's do some chart examples. Let's look for some chart example. Okay, look at this particular candle here. This is a bullish candlestick. Look at this particular candle. This particular candle. Sorry. This is a bullish candlestick here. You can also see it's a bullish candlestick. The bullish candlestick. But it opens from here, opens from the bottom and closes here. And from there, another green candle or another bullish candle opens from there, from where it closes, opens from there and closes here. But mind you, looking at this now, we've seen a wick telling us that the price has been to this particular price before, which is what's the price there? 1.17063 before but finally it closes at 1.16892. And from 1.16892, another price opens and closes at 1.17881. Yes, that's the candle. But this, this is the body of the candle. This is the body of the candle. This is the body. This is the wick. So looking at this, we are going to see so many candles. Now look at this. This is a bearish candle. This is a bearish candle. It opens from here and it closes here. So this is a bearish candle. So this is a bearish candle. This is the body. We have the wick. As you can all see, this is the wick here. We have the body of the candle. Now, let us talk about the trend. Let's do chart example talking about the trend. Okay, so from here we have a bearish trend. We have a bearish trend. Let's check. Let's check. We have this lower high, lower low, lower high, and lower low here, and lower low. Yeah, these are lower low. So what happens? We transition from a bearish trend. This is our lower high, our previous lower high. Now this price broke the lower high. Hence, the transition from this particular trend, the bearish trend, the transition to the what? The bullish trend. And from there, let's say, okay, this is another concept entirely. So this is where we talk about liquidity, but let's map it out. So we have this low and we have this high here. We are at this low currently. So we expect price to give us a new high. Okay, this is Euro USD. This is Euro USD. So we expect price to give us a new high coming this new week. So expect price to give us a lower high, and I think it has created a lower high already, a higher low already. So we are breaking this high, and it continues like that. Remember, we are coming from a bearish trend. Then here we broke transition from a bearish trend to a bullish trend, and we continue like that. So that will be all for today's class. From where we continue from here in our next class. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, like my videos and subscribe to my channel. You find this valuable.